So the Beanie Baby Index of 1993.
$5.
Are we just gonna see how much they are every rewind?
Every rewind until
Okay.
until it crumbles.
Until 1999. About.
It crumbles, and it crumbles fast.
6, 7, 4,000 for this.
Welcome to the iKnowBadeaux podcast.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the iKnowBadeaux podcast. Coming at ya from the local 218 studios. I am Mayor Dave Badeaux of the city of Brainerd, and with me, as always, is my brother.
A cat farted on me again.
Again, for the second time.
Yeah, it keeps happening.
Hopefully, I mean, like, how many times are we at? Again could mean many now.
Less than 10.
Anyways, Gabriel Johnson, how are you?
I am well, Dave. How are you?
I am excellent. Should we just get started?
Let's go.
We got a lot to do. This is the Be Kind Rewind, 1993. All right, so we're actually going to do 2 episodes for 1993. We're going to divide this up because it turns out 1,000 movies came out in 1993, and we really wanted to talk about some of them. And so we are actually going to do a second episode of 1993 that'll be coming up next week. This week will be everything other than the movies.
No movies.
No more. no movies.
We really wanted to do 1993 because there's so many good movies. We're not going to talk about any of them.
So instead, we're going to talk about everything else. Gabe, get us started. We're going to do music. It is the soundtrack of our lives. How did you feel about 1993?
You know, mixed feelings, mixed bag. I was incredibly shocked to learn that Meatloaf's I Would Do Anything for Love was recorded in 1993.
Released in 1993.
He could have recorded it in 74, yeah.
Definitely recorded it in 74. Released in 93. I was a huge fan.
Smash hit.
Smash it. I happened to, when doing my research here, that came up. And so that song has been stuck in my head for like 4 days. And then sometime this morning, I just looked at myself and said, like, I don't actually know what he wouldn't do. Like, he would do anything.
He wouldn't do that.
He would do anything for love. But and then he never actually, I actually went through in my head trying to go through the lyrics to try and figure out what exactly is he talking about.
We should have tried reading them.
That's probably a good idea.
Probably easier with Meatloaf.
And not only that, but I'm also trying to just remember the song based off of the chorus that I heard that then made me remember the song. So all of the lyrics that I'm remembering are probably completely wrong.
Did he sing about furry suits or anything?
Bad Outta Hell 2. Because was Bad Outta Hell the first one? Like from 70s?
That was his first hit album, yeah.
Yeah. So Bad Outta Hell 2.
Back into hell.
Yeah. I only pointed to you because you talked about it before we got started.
No, sorry. I was too busy Googling what won't.
What won't? Well, okay.
The very first thing that pops up,
According to Google.
what won't Meatloaf do for love?
Even Google doesn't know. Do we know? Does it actually say, what do people think that he won't do? I will say this. I actually really enjoyed that song. It's just very well constructed, very well, the nice orchestra to it, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. Could not be. Could maybe not be. However, I don't know. I actually don't know.
He won't lie to you.
Lie to you?
No.
Is that seriously where people are going with it?
That's what this thing says.
That's the dumbest answer I've ever
This is what the
Get outta
BBC
here,
has to
Meatloaf.
say.
I thought it was pegging. I'll do anything, but. Anyways, yeah, Meatloaf, good on you. Can I jump in super fast?
How bad?
So 1993 was the first year that I remember CDs being in our household. My older brother got a CD player, and he had 3 CDs that I remember. And my entire childhood with him, I believe I only remember these 3 CDs. The first 2 I'm pretty sure came out in 1993. Billy Joel, River of Dreams.
Oh, yeah.
Only listened to the one song, though.
In the middle of the night. Oh, on repeat.
On repeat.
In the middle of the night.
I don't think ever listened to it.
You couldn't do that with cassette tapes.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, there you go. New technology. And then
Play it again.
the second one was Ace of Base. And my older brother was far too into Ace of Base for far too long.
My older sister had that one.
Well,
That makes sense.
Rick Bedeaux was still jamming to Ace of Base in 1998 as well. And then the last one I remember was Amy Grant, of all things. So my brother had
Really?
a hell of a selection. I may be wrong about that, Rick. I apologize. And Amy Grant may not have been 1993, but those are the three that I remember of you having. So,
I mean, one of you had Criss Cross.
oh, I had Criss Cross.
Wiggin' a wiggin' a
That
wiggin'
was
a.
probably my first CD.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I think that was my first CD, actually.
MC Hammer.
Yeah, those are probably both mine. Maybe
Okay.
Rick. We'll give Rick MC Hammer. We'll give it. I know Criss Cross was mine. That was not only did Criss Cross have their album in 1992, but Nike came out with these cross trainers that also had an X. They had straps on them that made an X, but that wasn't until 1994. So I was big into things that formed an X in that time frame.
You even named your kids that way.
I most certainly did. All right, give me a couple more from music. What do you got?
Best album of the year, in my opinion, Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream.
Not just of the year, of probably for me, my entire high school age was all of the Smashing Pumpkins stuff, but that album specifically. Scott, you a fan of it?
Yes. I was never a huge fan of the Smashing Pumpkins.
man.
I appreciate them. They're quite good, but I don't know. Wasn't really my style. I was more of Nirvana, like In Utero.
In Utero
came
was
out
good.
in '93 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Also, I was 6.
You were also 6, but music doesn't work like that though.
No.
Because I wasn't listening. I was listening to Siamese Dream in '93, but I was more listening to it in 1999.
Right, you were listening to Criss Cross in 1993.
Yes, absolutely, I was. It happens. But I will say this: Siamese Dream. There was a big group of people in our high school that were obsessed with the Smashing Pumpkins, and that was probably of their albums. I thought the easiest one to just pop in and just listen to from start to finish. You get into the double album.
That's tougher because it's two.
It's 2 albums. Plus, it's called.
That takes a little bit longer.
Plus, it's also Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, which is definitely what was going on.
It was the vibe.
It was the vibe.
Yeah.
It was the vibe.
It was the 90s.
And I will tell you what, you listen to that thing, you're gonna have a bad time.
Gonna have a bad time.
I've got one more. Do you got one before that?
I mean, I am a big fan of the band Morphine.
Okay.
Their album Cure for Pain came out in 1993.
Okay.
The lead singer and lead guitarist, along with the band, the Presidents of the United States of America.
Yeah.
Nice.
They both played an instrument called either a git bass or a bass-itar,
Yeah.
2-string guitars.
Yup.
Just good stuff. It's something you don't hear.
Okay.
It makes it sound different by necessity. Just because you can't do anything different.
Because you have 2 strings.
You only have 2 strings. You got to get creative.
We'll have to look that one up because I'm not actually familiar with them myself. President of the United States of America, very good, very familiar.
Morphine is it's the bass-itar or the git
Yep.
bass, whichever
Yeah.
one he was playing, and then a saxophone
Okay.
and a drummer.
Ooh.
So guitar/bass,
Yeah.
saxophone, and drums.
Yeah.
That's the whole band.
There you go.
That sounds like someone hanging out in the subway in New York, like just
Doing all 3.
doing.
Yeah.
Got a couple toes out, playing the what did you say? The git bass.
Git bass or the bass-itar.
Interesting. The last one I've got before we'll move on. A little band, and I can't necessarily say band. An individual. A little bit of Snow. Informer.
How does that one go?
Informer, and then words. He licks a boom boom down. Something along those lines. If you had to guess what the title of Snow's album was called, what would you think that it would be called?
Rain.
No, Gabe.
Mud.
No, it was 12 Inches of Snow.
That's a penis.
Clever.
Not bad.
I kind of like it. That was the dude that everyone thought was Jamaican and then found out that he was white and then became basically a skit on In Living Color with Jim Carrey. And that was basically the end of that guy's career. I guess he was really big in like Jamaica. Like he was really big in that area.
Wasn't he Canadian?
I think he was, but he got into like the reggae stuff down towards Jamaica. I don't know if it was in Jamaica. Maybe it was Jamaica adjacent. I'm assuming Jamaica adjacent. I don't know, but evidently, yeah, he went on and had a mild career after that. But at that point, he was probably just 6 inches of snow.
Gentleman 6.
Gentleman 6. We went and did a trivia night, and we took 3rd place. By the way, we tied for 2nd, and then lost the
guessing game.
The guessing game. But the guy, we had 6 people, and the guy said, "Oh, Gentleman 6," and I don't think we stopped making fun of Gentleman 6 for the entire night after that. Because what is a Gentleman 6? And very polite of you to give her just the Gentleman 6. Very polite.
It's a 4-inch penis.
That's a penis.
All right, moving on. All right, let's move on to the news. Run me through some of the news from 1993.
Michael Jackson performed at the halftime of the Super Bowl.
Yes, he did. Started off the year very strong.
Yeah, way to go, Mike.
What else happened to Michael Jackson in 1993?
Wait a second. He was accused. Hold the fort.
Hold the fort.
He was accused of molesting young boys.
That was the start of the Michael Jackson era. And I was just watching that part as well because he was on tour in like Thailand when it broke because it was in Los Angeles.
You don't say.
Yeah, what a strange place to be.
Oh, yeah.
For that sort of accusation to come out.
But then did like a recording of him like saying like, oh, these allegations are false and not very convincing. Looking back at that video, not that convincing.
Way out of line, Mike.
Yes, and I will say this, because is it on HBO, the documentary that came out? Oh, man. Just watch that and then tell me that you think that nothing happened.
No, they just laid in bed together in their PJs.
Yeah.
Drank their Jesus juice.
Yeah, there's a very specific phrase and description that happens in that you're just like, you know what?
It's rape.
I was going to say buggery?
you know what, Michael Jackson? We're going to move on. Speaking of moving on, anything else in the news? 1993.
The government incinerated 82 civilians, including 28 children.
Yes, they did.
Ha, ha, ha.
This is why the couple episodes we had to stop doing the news because the things that stick out tend to be things that are
Pretty
not.
bad.
Yeah, the things that people remember are either raping or incinerating children.
And this one had both.
Oh, boy.
True story. So I will say this, Waco, Texas, obviously what we're talking about. David Koresh, I believe. Branch Davidians is a great name, though. I got to say, the Branch Davidians, that's a great name for anything. That's a great name. So they started off really well. Like he sat down and made a list.
We're going to call ourselves.
Right at the top. What are we going to call ourselves?
Yeah.
Branch Davidians.
Beats the hell out of the.
Okay, and then right after that, we're going to rape children. Okay, excellent.
And traffic guns.
And traffic guns, yeah. I have not watched the documentary on Netflix on that. Have you guys watched it yet?
The new one, I watched it. Horse. Don't watch it.
I heard they were trying to be overly sympathetic to the government.
Way overly sympathetic.
Yeah, so that's why.
They incinerated 28 children.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I have the list over here. Name.
Can we say burned alive instead of incinerated?
But then second on the list, I have the raping of children. So I don't feel horrible for David Koresh. However, I do feel horrible.
No, he was an asshole.
For the burning of children.
He was a bit of a jerk.
Bit of a jerk.
What was his deal?
Just same thing as always. It's, the end of the world is coming. You now have to get in bed with me. That's what happens with all of them. It's very weird. It's a very quick step from I am the Lord Jesus to hey, have sex with me. It's very interesting how quickly that happens. And it happens with all of them. And not just like, you know, in one part of the country or one part of the world. It always goes, hey, I'm the next coming of Jesus.
And then people actually believe, there's always people that believe that guy.
Yes, I'm the next coming of Jesus, and now I am Jesus coming.
Here's my wife, here's my kids.
Yes, yeah. It's so
Let's work on the phrasing there.
that was the whole point of that. I waited. I was polite. But yeah, let's not, as a government, let's not burn kids to death. Let's not do that.
Or anybody, really.
Yeah. You know what? You're right.
Even David Koresh deserved a trial.
We do have a system of government. We do have a system of government. So yeah, that was big news, because how do you avoid, because there was the standoff.
It was like a 6-week standoff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was on the news all the time. And then, oh, hey, by the way, it's on fire. And it went fast.
Mm-hmm.
It started on fire. There was smoke. I remember like watching hey, it's on fire. And then, oh no, it's on fire. It's now burning to the ground. So, all right. Anyways, in lighter news, Bill Clinton got elected.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of rape,
Ew.
Do you got a take on Bill Clinton? And let's not get overly political. We can talk mad smack about the fact that Bill Clinton has done some interesting things in life, but a take on Bill Clinton.
he was president when I was a
I
kid.
did not have
Yes, he was.
sexual relations with that woman.
Likes girls
Likes girls
a lot.
a lot. Likes a lot of girls.
Yeah.
Likes a lot of girls. And then I would say this about Bill Clinton. Monica Lewinsky was 21 years old.
Yeah, that's rape.
Yeah, 21. I mean, no, it's not rape.
It's assault.
It's cancel. I'm just going to say this right now. The fact that hasn't been completely canceled in 2023 is amazing to me.
He's Bill Clinton.
I understand that. And we better be careful, because, you know, we could suicide ourselves.
Yeah, this will be the last episode.
We're not even going to
Yeah,
get to
we're
movies.
not talking about movies at all.
We're not getting to movies. We're not getting to movies. God, it's so light. It's so light, this episode. Janet Reno. Let's talk Janet Reno just super fast.
One of Will Ferrell's best SNL characters.
It's time for Janet Reno's dance party.
Janet Reno went from just a lady that got a position to a character on SNL that went for a real long time.
Because he had Ted Kaczynski, you had a handful of things that the federal government was doing back then.
Very interesting that was, and to think about what her role was, because it was Attorney General, correct? So you're the Attorney General, and now you are a character on SNL that then goes on for a decade, maybe 12 years, is crazy to me. So yeah, good on Janet Reno. Janet Reno's dance party is one of the best things that's happened on SNL, because it just seemed like something that she would do. Like, hey, we're gonna dance, and then we're just gonna talk about some issues.
Hi, I'm Janet Reno. Welcome to my dance party, coming to you live from the deck of a battleship. Psst, it's really just my basement.
I don't remember that.
I don't know anything about this person or the skits.
She was the attorney general that ordered 28 kids be burned to death.
Yes. Well, let's start there.
She, when she was in charge, they got Ted Kaczynski and sent him away for life. So that was a good one.
That's a good one.
And then she had Elian Gonzalez kidnapped from his family and shipped to Cuba.
That was an interesting
So
one.
she made some decisions.
And then Will Ferrell did a character of her on SNL, and pretty much spot on. So she was a very tall woman,
Very broad.
very tall woman. Seemed very serious at most aspects of life.
Big glasses.
Big glasses. All right, Scott, end us off with news. What else happened in 1993? You wanted to talk about this a while ago, so what else happened in 1993?
Well, we talked about it a while ago, the pizza wars,
Yes.
where everybody had their giant pizza.
Yep.
And for the 4th of July in 1993, Pizza Hut had
Yes.
a Bigfoot Pizza Blimp.
Yes. So the Bigfoot pizza was 24 inches. Didn't we say it was like 9 by 24 inches or something along those lines, like 10 by 24?
Something.
It
It was,
came-
like, it was like 11 and a quarter or something.
Yeah. It came in basically this, long rectangle. And delicious.
Good pizza.
Good pizza. Don't get me wrong. We talked about that. Good pizza. However, to promote it, 4th of July, they decided to do a blimp. And what was the story with that?
Well, the blimp got a hole in it.
Not good.
And just slowly started sinking, I guess we'll say.
Deflating.
Yeah. They're deflating. The pilots on there started throwing stuff out.
And this is in New York, isn't it?
In New York.
In
They're
New York
over the
City.
city of New York.
Yes.
Like hundreds of feet in the air.
Yes.
Trying to throw stuff out.
The equivalent of bailing out water
Right,
from a boat
100%.
that's
Like you are a
Instead it's
sinking
desks.
ship. Exactly. It's just like whatever's in a blimp.
Which can't be a lot. It can't be a lot.
Less and less air at that moment.
Yeah.
There's a filing cabinet with what to do when sinking.
Get rid of it.
No!
Yeah.
No!
Yeah, but it eventually crash landed on the roof of a apartment complex, apartment building.
Yeah.
Like almost smashed people.
Yep.
The 2 pilots ended up having to go to the hospital. I think it said in an article I read, it just said the 2 pilots complained of back pain. It's like the only thing they could get out of them.
Oh, man.
Was that video you watched? Video of the actual
Yeah,
blimp?
there is a video of it. It's not very good, but
Well, yeah. It's
The
1993.
camcorder in 1993.
Yeah.
Old home video.
it
footage.
exists.
It exists. I just love it because it was a giant blimp. And I believe that the slogan involved with the Bigfoot Pizza was "Don't let it sneak up on you."
So
that's great.
was it Domino's? Who was behind
Who
getting the
punctured-
hole?
who put the hole in it?
Absolutely.
They had a sniper on the roof or something, and
Yeah, I don't know. There's not a lot of these blimp crashes that I remember. So the fact that one with
in the middle of a pizza war.
in the middle of a pizza war over New York City on a very populated weekend, or
It was probably over Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
Yeah, shot that baby down. I think that's hilarious, personally. I really do. So let's move on to television. What do you guys got for me for television?
The first ever ESPN ESPY Awards aired in 1993.
Classic.
Yeah, that's the annual sports award show.
Yep.
Best athlete, best female athlete of the year. Michael Jordan was the best male athlete.
Imagine.
Jimmy Johnson, best coach.
Okay.
And Jimmy Valvano won the Arthur Ashe Courage Award, first ever, and gave maybe the most inspiring speech at an awards acceptance show that I've ever seen. Fantastic speech.
I would agree. And if you've watched ESPN ever in your life since that moment, you have seen the speech. Because
Yeah. You've at least seen him say, don't give up. Don't ever give up.
don't ever give up. Yeah.
And its motto is, don't give up, don't ever give up. And that's what I'm going to try to do every minute that I have left.
Yeah. Very, very cool moment to have for that, and probably made it a bigger deal. What I would also say though that ESPN was becoming a much bigger deal at that time as well. So, yeah, just a good fit. We also had the X-Files debuted in 1993. A decent show. I always found shows like that to be hit or miss. I mean, it always depended on what the episode was about, right? And it got into some weird territory every once in a while. So, like, I'd be into it, and then I wouldn't be into it at all because it's like, well, that was weird. You know, maybe skip the next couple. But there are people that are very into the X-Files.
Well, I believe it. Conspiracy theories and the like.
Those are the good ones, though. But then they would throw in
I remember
Harry Dude or something.
I think I watched one episode one time, and I'm pretty sure it was about the literal devil.
Probably.
Like Satan?
Yeah, that would probably happen in that show. Yeah. I don't remember that one
That doesn't
specifically,
seem
but-
like it would happen in that show. It's about aliens and what do they call it? Cryptozoology?
No, cryptozoology is
It's like Sasquatch and
no. That's Dogecoin.
Oh my God.
Continue.
oh, of course. My mistake.
Continue.
That was about it. It threw me for a loop. Scared the bejesus out of me when I was 9 or 10 whenever I watched it.
Yeah, good production value for a
And when I
television
was
show.
scared of Satan, because I was 9.
Well, you also grew up in our household,
Yeah.
so shut the door, shut the door,
Shutting the door.
yeah, keep out the devil.
Shutting the door, keep out the devil. Shutting the door, keep the devil in the night.
How many?
When did that come out?
That was prior to this, but I will say this: there are many car rides in which, goddamn, there was a time frame where we were the kids from The Simpsons, freaking Ned Flanders
Yeah.
kids. Play it again, Dad. Shut the door, keep
The devil in the night.
Yeah. So, anyways, Gabe, what else you got over there for 1993 television shows?
1993 television shows. Do I have another one?
I've got
Cheers ended.
Cheers ended. Okay, so let's talk about Cheers super fast. You said big fan.
Big fan of Cheers. Seen the entire run a couple times.
Okay. I've done the thing where I went back and started at the beginning and got probably halfway in. The later episodes are, I think, better than the early stuff. The early stuff is very 70s-ish. Because it started
Early 80s.
probably early 80s, which again, if you go into my philosophy, early 80s, if you're 81, 82, that's 1978. So I will say this, though. I looked up Cheers because it had its final episode, and it was like one of the biggest season finales of anything, and the numbers were staggering to me. 42.4 million households, an estimated 93 million viewers watched that episode, which was 40% of the U.S. population at the time. 40% of the U.S. population.
That's a lot.
That's
How many people watch the Super Bowl?
yeah. That's it. No, we're nowhere near that. Like you do 10 million now, and you're doing something serious numbers. That's incredible. I just read that and I was like, that's amazing. And I know it was a gigantic show, but just the way that television worked then, and we didn't even get NBC because we lived out in the sticks. So crazy. 1993. Yeah. Last one, Scott. So you had the end of Cheers, but you had the beginning of
Frasier.
Well, yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but yeah, that makes sense. Frasier literally left the bar, drove to Seattle. Yeah, and got his spinoff. No, I was talking Conan O'Brien.
Oh, okay.
Conan O'Brien.
So Johnny Carson was retiring. NBC didn't give the job to the guy in the late night slot, David Letterman.
Yep.
So he signed over to CBS.
Yep.
Opening up the late night program.
Yep.
Lorne Michaels hired Conan O'Brien.
Yes.
1993.
Yes. So NBC made the bold move of skipping over the next guy, and then Letterman went and had a fantastic career. And I was a big Letterman guy. I loved Letterman's comedy. And then if you can imagine, fast forward a couple decades and right back into it, Conan O'Brien. You gotta know what you're getting into, though, right? You sat in that chair, and you sat in that chair for like 20 years. You had to know what was coming, but them's the breaks. But Scott, this is the thing that irritates me about you when we do stuff like this, because
How was I supposed to know that that's what you wanted?
no. I don't need you to know, but as soon as I bring it up, like you're like, oh yeah, Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien is like literally your favorite.
1993. Okay.
But it's like literally your
sounds
favorite.
about right.
God, you suck sometimes. It's like literally your favorite of all things.
Yeah, Conan's great.
Thanks. He is great.
His clueless gamer bits
Oh, those are fantastic.
phenomenal.
Those are fantastic. Yes. Speaking of games, let's jump. Let's go right to games of 1993. Scott, did you have any video games that you liked from
I
1993?
completely forgot video games existed.
Well, I've got two that you would enjoy. One, Mega Man X.
That was 1993?
1993,
Wow.
my friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one of the best games ever made.
It is one of the best games ever made. Delicious. The original Mega Man games were really good on the regular Nintendo. This was the jump to the Super Nintendo. And just a fantastic game. Maybe the best of all the Mega Mans.
It's pretty close.
up
I mean,
there.
all X1, 2, and 3 on the
All
Super
good.
Nintendo are all phenomenal
good.
games.
I'm still a fan of just straight up Mega Man 2, but that's a good one. And then the other game that I have is Secret of Mana, or Secret of Mana, whichever way you would like to say it if you want to get fancy. Fan of Secret of Mana?
Absolutely great game.
Wonderful game. I just started playing it again a couple, I guess last month. I will say this, that game doesn't exactly tell you what the hell to do at some points.
No.
I found myself running back and forth a lot in that game, and it's not a huge map, but that game's a ton of fun. And it was a game that you could hook up the multi-tap adapter, and so you and two of your friends could play this game, and that was a ton of fun, actually. So. And then I've got a board game. You guys okay if I'm just jumping with a board game?
Yeah, well, I just quick have to mention a game that we're all very, very familiar with. NBA Jam.
Oh, 1993?
1993, that's what it says.
Arcade or home console?
Well, that's a good question.
Either way, completely acceptable. Gabe, thoughts on NBA Jam?
I don't like Bill Lambier all that very much.
If you've ever played NBA Jam with Scott Badeaux, two things are going to happen. One, you're just going to get pushed the entire time.
Well, you're going to lose.
Well, that was the second part. You're going to lose, but you're going to lose
after being frustrated of having Bill Lambier just knock you down all over the court.
You got to get the timing right. You got to know when to push.
The podcast in the previous iteration, we would afterwards play NBA Jam on the Super Nintendo 4-player, and you basically have to have a partner that you can just go, as soon as you get the ball, pass it immediately, because otherwise Scott will hit you, and then will hit me, and then he will hit a 3-pointer. So I don't know if anyone else out there has enjoyed playing NBA Jam, but it's not fun to play against Scott in NBA Jam.
Well, the beauty of NBA Jam is, and I don't know how many games did this before, presumably a few, but it was most evident in the computer assistance.
Yes.
In that game where
Rubber Band AI, yeah.
Where almost every game will come down to the very end.
To the very end.
And Bill Lambier pushes you down and hits a thing.
Because when one team is doing very well,
yes,
they'll start missing shots.
But it doesn't matter, though, when you play against Scott, because even though he's missing his shots, you're getting the ball, and then he immediately has the ball again. For anyone who doesn't know what the NBA is, it's basketball, so we probably should maybe mention that. It's a basketball game that is 2-on-2. Pushing is allowed. There are no fouls. And then if you hit 3 shots in a row with the same character.
He's on fire.
Phenomenal game. Glad you brought it up. All right, I've got one more, and then we'll throw it for the last thing here that we had. This is a board game that I flipping love. 1993, 13 Dead End Drive. Ever played?
I have, but it's been such a long time, I don't even really remember what it was. I always imagined that it was similar to Clue.
Yeah,
kinda.
Clue adjacent. Let's go.
Okay,
Clue adjacent. Clue is a great game. 13 Dead End Drive was kind of like if Clue and Mousetrap met each other.
Sure.
You essentially how it works is there's your aunt or whoever has died. There's a portrait that you set up on this gigantic board, this cardboard board that has all these traps and stuff. There's a portrait on there. And as the game is played, you pull the cards or you flip the cards and a new portrait will come out. The goal is to get one of the characters that you have in your hand out the front door while their portrait is on the mantle. The goal as well is to kill off all the other characters so that people don't, or the other team can't win, but you kind of do it in a way that makes people think that they might be your character. It's just a ton of fun. You basically roll the dice and then you can move any of the, I'm assuming 13 characters around. And then if you land on a specific spot, you can trigger a trap and kill the person. A lot of fun. I love that game. I love that game so much that I bought the remake version of it for my kids because the version that I had as an adult, I went to my parents' house and got this game, and it was in really good condition. missing a few little pieces here or there. So we bought a new version of it to take some of those pieces. And then, of course, my fiance left it in a puddle of water, and the thing turned into a puddle of mush. So
How did she
Callie.
leave it in a puddle of water?
Okay, I shouldn't say she left it in a puddle of water. A puddle of water.
She threw it into a puddle
A
of water.
puddle of water formed somewhere, and I'm assuming in the basement or something. And the box was never moved, so it sat in this water. And then I opened it, and it was a complete moldy mess. So a game that I kept for 30 years in like pristine condition, played a lot. Ended up a moldy mess. But I will say this, that game is awesome. It is a ton of fun. It's really good to play with kids that are, like 6, 7, 8, 9, probably up to adult age, I would say. Because it's
Probably
just
up to like 40 or so.
I would say 41 is an age in which people will still enjoy that. Myself will guess you could probably go to 75. Just a lot of fun. You just move the characters around. There's a little bit of deception involved. It's very Clue-esque because you are in like a mansion looking setting. And just a ton of fun. Great game.
See you later, Chef. The game 13 Dead End Drive, where you can get rich by accident. The fun's alive with 13 Dead End Drive.
All right, last one. Let's end this episode off. Gabe, in 1993, the world was introduced to
Beanie Babies.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Beanie Babies. It's the best way to end off an episode about 1993 that doesn't involve movies.
So the Beanie
Or
Baby
children.
price index 1993 Beanie Babies sold for $5.
Okay, so I had said to Gabe when he brought up Beanie Babies, I said I would like to create a price index for Beanie Babies going forward in all of the years that we do, because I want to find out when does the great increase begin and when does the rapid decline?
So the Beanie Babies were introduced in 93.
Yes.
It was about 1995 when they launched their website.
Okay.
And they discontinued one of their Beanie Babies.
Okay.
And they saw that those sales just skyrocketed. Their warehouses emptied.
Yep.
So they made it a thing where they would discontinue or retire Beanie Babies. But then they would also spread rumors about who was going to be next.
Oh, yeah.
The company would, plant rumors. So everybody would try to hoard all these Beanie Babies.
Genius.
At its peak, Beanie Baby sales were 10% of all eBay transactions.
That's incredible.
People thought these stuffed animals, they're stuffed animals if you don't know.
Yeah. With beans.
Beans in them instead of cotton. Yeah. They people thought they were investments so much that when people were getting divorced at the peak of this craze, they would haul all of the Beanie Babies into the courtroom in front of the judge and hold a literal draft.
Yes.
I get this one. I get this one.
There is a photo of this, at least one time for sure it happened, where there is a couple and the lady's in a suit. I think the guy's just in like cargo shorts. With the lady's like
You
in a
can
suit.
fit more Beanie Babies in those.
And they have a mound of Beanie Babies in front of them and are doing the thing you did as a kid when you were like, this one's mine. All right, this one's mine. Shoot. Okay. Then I want this one. In a courtroom over stuffed animals in order to get divorced.
They were worth millions, Dave.
Can you imagine being the judge? And that's the only solution, right? You know what? We're going to hash this out right now. Dump them on the floor. No, don't dump them. No. God, no.
My retirement.
The picture's so great because the dude's even got the thing where he's got one knee down, kind of leaning back. The other knee is up, almost like he's biting it. Like as a kid, you'd get like, oh, who am I going to get?
Who do I get next?
It is such a great photo of two adults who have been joined by the government. Okay, because that's the great thing about marriage that I will never understand. The government has joined you as two. And in order to remove that government sanction about your relationship, we must get on the floor and divide
Our stuffed animals.
So, the Beanie Baby Index of 1993? $5. Just stay tuned for that.
Are we just gonna see how much they are every rewind?
Every rewind until
Okay.
until it crumbles. And
Until 1999, about.
it crumbles, and it crumbles fast. I hate to admit this. I stole a couple Beanie Babies from my friend's mom. I won't say who. She had.
She knows.
She knew because
Connie.
Because no, it wasn't Connie.
Okay.
Connie, it was not Connie. Connie, I did not steal your Beanie Babies. I stole a couple Beanie Babies from one of my friend's mom, and it was one of those things where I was like, oh, maybe these are going to be worth some money.
I need to get in on this.
Yeah, that's not a high point in my life, but that happened.
Beanie Babies.
All right, that's enough for this part of the Be Kind Rewind 1993. Stay tuned for next week, where we will be doing the movie edition of 1993. There's just a lot of them.
There's a long list.
Too many.
Too many, and to give it any justice, we're going to split it up. How do you guys feel about 1993 in general?
Positive emotions.
Warm. I feel warm.
You're both the worst. Incinerated.
Oh, ouch.
2 times people are on fire in this episode. So stay tuned. Quick shout out to sponsor Local 218.
Summer menu's out.
Summer menu is out. It's been out for a couple weeks now. But go ahead and check those guys out. I really enjoy when PJ starts messing with the menu a little bit, because they've got their staples, right? They've got the go-tos that are so good. The Reuben and the poutine, all the things that I enjoy, which includes the pork tenderloin sandwich, which blew me away.
Yeah.
I never thought I would like it.
But he's even tweaked the poutine over the years.
Yes,
so
he
if you
has.
haven't had it in a while, check it out. It might be better.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, but the summer menu is out. Go ahead and check those guys out right on Mill Avenue in Brainerd. Thank you to the Local 218. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you to the Boutros, Scotty Pizza.
Yes.
And thank you to Gabriel Johnson.
No, thank you.
Absolutely. And I think we have to end with a little bit of snow and form. And with that, we're done.
I went to the gas station the other day. I got on my bike from the pizza shop, went to the gas station to get cigarettes. And when I came back, it's a 4-minute trip in there, get cigarettes. By the time I got back, there was a dude at the back door where we have a can that we throw our cigarette butts in. Yep. And he's got that thing dumped out onto the table.
Oh, of course he does.
So I left and came back, and within 4 minutes, somebody pulled up and dumped them all out onto the table. And I just pulled my bike up next to him.
Hey, buddy.
And I'm like, and he goes, oh, hey. I'm like, hey. He goes, how's it going? And I said,
feeling a bit violated.
I said, it'd be going a lot better if you weren't doing that. And he was like, oh.
Yeah.
And I walked past him.
Yep.
And I opened the door, and I had one cigarette left in my pack. That's why I went
Gave it to him, I hope.
So I gave him the cigarette.
Yeah. Now
and
clean it up, please.
And I said, please don't do that.
Yeah.
And then I shut the door.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Hey, please. How's it going? Be a lot better if you weren't doing that.
Yeah.
Here's a cigarette. Please don't do that.
Don't do that. Pick through if you want, right? It's gross, but pick through if you want. Don't dump them out. Because you know he wasn't cleaning up.
No.
You were going to have a mound of cigarette butts.
And that's happened on multiple occasions.
Probably from him. He's clearly in the trees waiting for you to leave.
With the pigeons. You got 2 seagulls out in your back parking lot every time I drive by.
Yeah. There's a tree across the parking lot.
A pigeon tree? Seagull tree?
A seagull tree. I don't know what happens at this tree.
A lot of fucking
frequently, there appears to be. That's just the tree that all the drunk people walking home vomit on.
Ah.
Because there's always just a pile of shit
Oh, so the seagulls aren't there for the pizza.
No,
they're
no,
there for the
no,
puke.
no. They are there for puke or whatever else is coming off this tree. Because there's always a lot of different kinds of birds.
That took a turn.
Seagulls are fighting with the little ones, and the crows show up every once in a while to police the situation.
Do you think that different birds go after different size chunks in the vomit? Do you think it's like, is there
A pecking order?
Yeah, a pecking order. Wow, nailed it. And with that, we're done.